Alrighty, so I'm going to show you around Leadpages and show you how to get some pages set up using this software. So as I say, this is a paid tool, but it's reasonably good value if you're building landing pages and using them in your campaigns. So first stage is to get signed up. So you can get Leadpages, or if you're already a member, then you can log in. Now what I'm going to do first is I'm going to show you behind the scenes on this page, just to show you how it's being constructed. And then we're going to go through the process of setting up a page using templates. So it's super straightforward. So once you've got a page set up, then this is sort of structure that you're going to have. Now, obviously, the layout of the template that you choose will define which of these pieces that you can use. But you can see here we've got a couple of different headline options, and it's really simple. You can just click to add text to any of these sections. You've got buttons as well, and I'll take you through the buttons in just a minute. You've also got background sections, so each of these pictures I decided myself. So you just click on that little cog and you can see you've got each section is labeled here. So we've got the section there, and then we've got featured in, so that's this section down here with the Forbes, Guardian, Independent. You can see when I hover over that section gets circled in blue. So if we want to make any changes to that section, we can just open that up, and then we've got each of the columns. So we've actually got 5 columns here, but we've only put pictures in 3 of them. So if I just open up that column there, you can see now we're working on column 2, so that's this button here. Let me just show you a background image for this section. So in about, let's just open up that one. And if we open up section style, we will see there is the image which I've used. So I could change that image to something else if I wanted. I could also remove that image by clicking there. I could use a fill color by choosing a color in this box here. You can choose to repeat it and all that stuff. I've actually added an image color overlay there. That picture was a little bit bright. I wanted to make it look a little bit more like a sunset, so I added a bit of an orange overlay, and you can play with the padding and all of that sort of stuff as well. You can also choose to hide this section on mobile, desktop, or tablet. Now what you might want to do there is, if you've got a section which looks really good on desktop but looking a little bit weird on mobile, you might want to choose to hide it on mobile, and then add another section which is the same content from that piece, but looks better for mobile, and then you might want to hide that new section on desktop. So you can do that if you want. Leadpages is fairly responsive, so it's usually pretty good. You normally don't have to do much to it. So that's how it looks kind of behind the scenes on a page. And once you've made all your tweaks, then you can just click update. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to go through the process of setting up a demo page. I'm just going to choose something really simple. You can see when you click to set up a new page, you've got a bunch of different templates that you can choose from, and they're always adding more. They've added probably, I'd say, half of the ones on this page since we started using Leadpages a few months back. You've got 2 different types of page that you can have. You can have drag and drop ones, which obviously mean you can drag and drop sections, so they're much more flexible. Or you can use the standard layout ones. You can see remember my Google book page was using that template. Now these templates are pretty trash, because once you've used a template like this, you can't move any sections around. You can't add any new sections. The only thing you can do is hide particular sections or different elements inside a section. So not really much good. So we tend to go for drag and drop because you've got much more flexibility there. So if you click on preview, you'll see a live preview of any of these pages. So here's the free ebook opt-in page. So if you've got an ebook for sale, then you might want to do this. Now this page is obviously really basic. You know, there's no content below the fold. This stuff isn't visible. So for me, this is a little bit too basic. You might use this page if you're sending traffic that already knows you to a page to download a book, but for anyone who is a little bit unfamiliar with you, you're typically going to have to do more selling than that page is going to allow you to do. So what you might want to do is choose a page like this one, which I think is a bit more advanced. So we've got a bit more information about what's inside. You can add some pictures of the content as well. Get some testimonials there, a few case studies, a bit of information about the author, and you've still got this this opt-in. So what we're going to do, we're going to use that template and we're going to create a quick demo page. I'm not going to change any of the images, but obviously you would. We're not going to change any of the images. We're going to call this demo page, and we're going to start building. So the page title that you give it, that's going to be the page title for the page. So you want to make sure that this is something which works for your customers. You would never normally call it demo page, because then when someone visits, they would see the title there, demo page. So you would call this free consultancy book, or whatever you might whatever you choose. So we'll do this for let's say that we've got an ebook about planning your perfect wedding. So tips to plan your perfect wedding. Now, don't treat this as a copywriting tutorial, because I'm not thinking about copy at all for this video. Okay, we've got other videos on copywriting, so this is super basic. You probably wouldn't want to use that as a headline. You might want to change that subtext as well. So it's basically a bit more in depth from that headline, and then here is a bit more detailed information. Now, you've got two different types of reader. You've got the people who skip around and they just jump to the main big headlines. They decide very impulsively whether or not they're going to get something. And then you've got the more analytical people who spend a bit more time doing their research. The analytical people are going to read this stuff. The quick flitters, they're just going to read the headline, right? So if it was me visiting this page, I look at that headline, I'm looking for cues to let me know this is good. So is the cover design good? Yes. Then I'm going to buy it. If you're selling to if you're selling to a market which tends to be more analytical, for example, people that are really careful with their money, or people that are, whatever, your market might have an analytical bias, then you need to make sure all of this copy is really well written. So what's inside? We could add a picture here if we wanted to, but I'm not going to. This template looks pretty good for me, so I'm going to say what's inside, information about how to plan your perfect wedding. Now, what we've got here, send me a free chapter. Okay, so we've got two different calls to action. We've got the buy now button, and then we've got send me a free chapter. So I'm actually going to remove the buy now thing. Instead of saying buy now, I'm going to treat this as if it's a free ebook. Okay, so instead of saying send me a free chapter, it's just going to be download now. Okay, so I'm going to make sure that all of the calls to action are consistent and spelled properly. Download this free ebook for help with planning your wedding. Sweet. So let's say that we've done all of that. We've done all the text and everything. So we're ready to publish this. Before we do that, we need to make sure that all of these call to action boxes are wired up properly. So what happens when somebody clicks on these? So I'm just going to click on that, and then I'm going to click on the little link thing. Now we've got a few different options what we can choose to have happen here. We can either send people to another URL, so your download page, which might be one option, but the trouble is there, we don't have their contact details. You can also send them to another lead page. Again, no good there because we don't have their contact details. So what we need to do is we need to set up a lead box. Okay, so a lead box is basically like a little call to action box which pops up and asks for their contact details. So we're going to leave this as my lead box, and then we're going to edit this box. So we're going to say, yes, please send me the free download. And then we're going to change this CTA button. And we're going to make that reflect what they just clicked on. We're going to leave the privacy policy there. Now this email section, we've got a couple of different options here. We can either have it, our default behavior here is to notify me. Okay, so by default, when they fill in their email address here, it sends me an email, and that's fine. I have to process that manually. The other option that you can do, you can link up your CRM, so you can link up your autoresponder software, so MailChimp, Aweber, in our case Infusionsoft, so we use Infusionsoft, so we could link it up there. And what would happen there is when someone fills in that information, they get added to our autoresponder sequence, so they start getting our emails, and we can choose to build some sort of follow-up here, which would say, hey, here's your ebook. Really hope you enjoy it. If you've got any questions, we're here to help. Maybe checks on them a couple of days. Hey, just wanted to find out how you're getting on with the ebook. Remember, if you've got any questions, we're here to help. Whatever. So you can set up your kind of email funnel, and we cover that in separate videos. So once we've done that, once we've said, okay, so we're just gonna do the notifying me. That's fine. I'm happy with that. The next thing that we need to do is we need to plan which fields we're going to ask for. So we just ask for email at the moment. I would always ask for first name as well. Okay. The reason is because then you can personalize your emails, which is going to increase your readers. It's going to increase your read through, which is really, really important. And I'd make that compulsory as well. Okay, so in order to make that consistent, you can see here we've got placeholder text of email address. So I'm just going to add in there first name, and that will mean it's consistent across both of those. Okay, that placeholder text hasn't filled in yet, so that's fine. Visitor must fill in that. URL mapping is if you are sending someone to this page from an email, then what you can do is you can have your email system populate the URL with their first name and email address, so that when they click on that link to go to this page, this says, okay, we know what their name and email address is because the email autoresponder has included it in the URL. I'm not going to do this now, a little bit more complicated. And once they filled this in, what happens? So do they go to a default Leadpages thank you page? Or, much better, we would create a separate page either on your website or in Leadpages, which serves as the thank you page. Now, why would we do that? There's two reasons. Number one, we can control the look, feel, and branding of the page, which is important for consistency. Because remember, just because somebody has filled in a thing to get a free book doesn't mean that they're going to read it. Right, we haven't won the war just because they've filled in their details. Once they fill in their details, the game has only just started. We've now got to get them to read the thing. Once they read the thing, we've now got to have them get in contact with us. So actually, this is like they've agreed to go on a first date. So we don't stop trying as soon as they've agreed to go on a first date. We actually start trying more. So it has to look consistent, has to look really good quality. So I would actually set up a separate lead page. The other benefit of that is that you can put tracking code on that lead page, which will tell your advertising platform that, yes, this person has converted, okay? So in order to do that conversion tracking, we need to be sending them to a separate page, and we need to be able to control that page. So just set up a separate lead page, exactly as you would here. And then once you've done that, it'll be visible in this drop down, so you can click which page they need to go to. Okay, so for now, I'm just going to choose that one, and I'm going to save and close the form. I'm going to click publish, and we will then see that our page is live. So I now have this page on a Leadpages URL. Okay, here it is. So this is the page I've just made, and if I click download now, here is my form. It's asking for name and email address. So I fill in that, and then I'll go to a default thank you page. Let me just show you how that works. I'll just use my Gmail address. Please don't email me on my Gmail address. It's just full of spam. And if I click download now, that is going to take me to my default Leadpages thank you page. Okay. So you can see that lead page thank you page is pretty basic, so we wouldn't want to send someone to that. What we do instead is we create another landing page which looks like this, but says, thank you, your guide has just been sent to your email address, please go and check it now. And then in Facebook or Google AdWords, whatever, we would say when somebody gets to this URL, they have now completed the conversion funnel. Now the last thing I want to show you while we're on there, actually there's two more things I want to show you. The first is we need to make sure that we've got all our tracking code and everything set up. So in this section, when you're building the page, you see lead box tracking. You can add in your header code there for things like Google Analytics, Facebook, pixels, and all of that stuff. So you want to get that stuff sorted. Oh, my mistake. I'm in the lead box here. So that would actually set the header code for this actual lead box. So we just want to get out of that first. And I want to get off this lead box, which is easier said than done. We're happy with that. Now it's time to move on. There we go. So I'm out of it. Whee! Right, let me out. Okay, you can see how fun this is to use. So we're on this demo page and we go to tracking, and then that's where we can add in our code. You can see there are separate sections there for Facebook title and description. So if someone shares this in their news feed, this is the page title and meta description that Facebook will show. We can add in our analytics code there as well. You can also add things like VWO if you want to split test button colors and layouts and headlines and stuff like that. Although I'd actually recommend just setting up different pages to do that. We can center. I don't know what that is. Center must be some Leadpages thing. We can add our own page titles and meta descriptions there as well. So you can add all of your tracking details. Make sure that you do that before we go live. Now, once you've got that page set up, I just want to show you how to get that showing up. Actually, rather than having it on the Leadpages URL, I want to show you how to get it showing up on your own website's URL. So what you want to do inside WordPress, if you've built your site on WordPress, there is a Leadpages plugin that you can use. Okay, install that Leadpages plugin, and what will happen is when you check out this page here, so you can see what we've done here is we've actually added these lead pages, so goal setting for business, which is that page there, we've actually added that on an exposureninja.com/goals URL. So rather than sending someone to a page which says exposureninja.leadpages.co, we can actually send them to a proper Exposure Ninja page. So let me show you how to set that up. So under lead pages, once you've installed the plugin, go to add new. You'll see here all of your different lead pages. And then what you need to do, just under the custom URL, you can just add in here any URL you like. So I'm just going to click in demo page. And then when that goes live, that will set up our new lead page on exposureninja.com/demo page. Really, really simple. You see how we set that page up in, what, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, super simple to do. So that is a quick whistle-stop tour of Leadpages. In the next video, I'll show you how to do the same sort of things with OptimizePress.